All right, time for some more giveaways. The reason I haven't been giving a lot of stuff away lately is because it's just becoming too overwhelming. With more and more subscribers, I'm getting like 3,000 to 5,000 people writing in, and I have to print out each individual name and cut it out on a piece of paper, and that's just too ridiculous. So a friend of mine and I have been spending the last 6 months figuring out some software and how to make this digitally easier and possible to do this online instead of the old way. And thank you, Anthony Sabatini, for stepping forward and offering to do this and making this possible. I really appreciate it. I'm sure all these other people are going to appreciate this also, making things a lot easier so I can give away a bunch of items per giveaway. I can give away 10 things per giveaway. So that's really, really good. And so I got a bunch of stuff to give away, especially in the audio department. People have been waiting for the audio stuff. Yeah, it's been years of collecting this stuff, and now it's finally possible to give away a bunch of stuff at once. So today we're going to do a test giveaway with 2 cameras to see if this works. So let's try it out. Right now I'm actually filming this video right now with one of the cameras I'm giving away, which is a Lumix GX1. This is the camera that I'm filming with right now that I'm going to be giving away, and they're both kind of the same quality. The Lumix GF2 and the Lumix GX1. These are interchangeable lens, micro four thirds pocket cameras. So this is a pocket camera that you can literally stick in your pocket. Of course, if it doesn't have a lens on it. Very small, lightweight size cameras that you can put any micro four thirds lens you want on there. They're beautiful, they're small, they're compact. They're great for picture taking. They're not really intended for video, but they can take video. The video that's filming me right now is one of the cameras that I'm giving away. This is the GX1. And so it does take video. It's pretty good. It's just more old school. It's 1920 by 1080, full HD. It does not do 4K. They do not do 4K. But it still looks pretty good because you can put any lens you want on there and get the blurry background and all that. So they both have touch screens. They both have a tilt-up built-in flash to where you can actually tilt the flash to aim it to bounce off the ceiling if you want. They both have an external flash shoe, which means you can take professional flash pictures with these things. And I'm going to show you some picture examples of pictures that I've taken with these cameras just for you, so you can see what kind of pictures you can take with these little old school pocket cameras. So yeah, you can take some pretty cool off-camera flash pictures with these cameras. They do shoot RAW. They have face detection focus. They do not have stabilization. Again, these are not made for video. They're more for picture taking, but they can take video. The fixed rear screens do not flip out, but they come with these really cool add-on optional viewfinders that you stick on top. And I'm going to include those in the giveaway. Each one of these cameras comes with a viewfinder. Let's start with the GX1. The GX1 is the one I'm filming with right now. This is more of the enthusiast camera. The GF2 is more, this one here, the GF2 is more of a beginner's camera for people who don't want to think much. They just want to push record, and you don't want to have to do a lot of thinking for people who are they just want a pocket camera. But the fact that you can change a lens means that you can get really cool blurry backgrounds or wide angle or whatever it is you want. So let's start with the GX1. The GX1 that I'm filming with right now, it's a 16 megapixel sensor. It came out in February 2012. ISO is 160 to 12,800. It has a slightly better video quality than the GF2 because it shoots an MP4. This one shoots an AVC HD. But again, these are made for picture taking, not more for video. It has an optional viewfinder you can stick on top, which is actually better quality than the rear screen. It's really good. It's the LVF2, which costs about $250 on eBay if you can find one, and I'm going to include it with the GX1. And the thing that I like about these viewfinders is they swivel upward. You can take a picture while looking down. I just love that. Very fast autofocus when taking pictures, and pretty good when taking video too. Quite responsive. It recognizes faces really well and fast. So here's some pictures I took with the GX1 outside with using a professional flash. So this is the GX1. Let's switch over to the GF2. All right, this is the GF2 with the same lens that I was using on the other camera. This is a more beginner camera. It does not have a bunch of dials and knobs on it. It doesn't have a mode dial. You can switch modes. You have to go in the menu to do it. But this is more for beginners or people who don't want to think too much about what they're doing. You just push the IA button on top and it figures everything for you. Right now it is on IA. It's on intelligent autofocus and everything. So, I mean, I can step back and it should still keep my focus pretty well. I cannot tell because it doesn't have a flip out screen. But I found out using these cameras for a while that both of them are pretty good at finding a face and, you know, staying on the face and keeping it in focus. And you can get the nice, same beautiful blurry background as the other camera with this camera because it's an interchangeable lens camera. You can put any lens you want on there. The GF2 only has a 12 megapixel sensor and it's AVC HD, so you're not going to get as sharp of a video as the other camera. But again, these are made for picture taking, not video. So let's look at some pictures taken with this camera. Look at this. Look at the pictures taken with the GF2. It is pretty darn good. I mean, I'm really impressed, and it has a hot shoe on top. Because of the hot shoe, these cameras can trigger professional flashes. Now remember, they're only 1/50th of a second shutter speed, so you cannot do high-speed sync, but you can get really good quality pictures with both of these cameras. I made a video about the GF2 with the world's smallest flash trigger and just a basic little speed light to take these pictures. Nice. That's using just a little speed light like this. It has that nice glowing blue button on top, the IA button, which makes it so easy. I find these things, both these cameras, the IA is so good. I never have to use manual. It knows what color, it knows what to focus on. It figures out automatically what scene mode to put it in, what's best for the camera. They both work really good in the IA mode. If you do want to access the menus to do things more manually, both these cameras have a quick menu button on the bottom, or you can touch the screen and switch the mode instantly. They both have that wonderful rear dial for making exposure adjustments. You just push it to switch back and forth between f-stop and shutter speed. The thing about the GF2 is when you push video, it does crop in on video. The GX1 doesn't. This also comes with an optional viewfinder, the LVF1. That was the first generation. It's not really that good of a viewfinder. It's really low resolution. I will include it, but it's whatever. If you want to use it, you can use it. The GF2 is slightly smaller and more lightweight than the GX1, and I like small and lightweight. It's just more fun for traveling and for carrying around. And because the lens can be changed on the GF2, you can put any lens you want on there and get that nice blurry background like you're seeing right now. What else? Just like the other camera, you can touch the screen to focus it wherever you want or put it on autofocus. All right, so this is the GF2. All right, so we're back to the GX1 again. The lens, by the way, is a Sigma 56 1.4. It's the same lens I'm using on both these cameras, so you can compare. What's really cool about both these cameras is they have this button on top, which is the IA button, and it glows blue when you push it. The minute you push that, everything is automatic. It figures out everything for you, which is really good. I love that, and it works. It's very smart, and I find it actually is better sometimes than manual. It works so good. I trust the IA on both these cameras. The menus are kind of old school. They take some getting used to, but they work really well. When you're taking pictures, you have full control of the exposure and everything. When taking video, it automatically figures out the exposure for you, and you cannot make it lighter or darker while doing video, but it's very smart. I mean, it figures out the right exposure. Every time I click record video and whatever mode it's in, it figures out the exposure really well. When it's in IA, you still can adjust the focusing of the background, the blurriness of the background. There's a cool little feature where you can defocus the background. It's a slider, more focus or in or out of focus. Of course, the amount of blurry background depends on what kind of lens you're using, but that's kind of a cool feature. Even when you're in automatic, you can still pick your f-stop. And you don't even have to know what an f-stop is. It just says focus or defocus, whatever. It has intelligent dynamic range control, which helps with high contrast scenes. It has an optional live histogram during video as well as stills. The rear screens are kind of low resolution. They're not really that great, and they suck in bright sunlight, which is why I suggest you use one of these things. I made a video about these. This is a magnifying loop that fits perfectly over the rear screen. So when you're outside in bright sunlight, it's like having a big giant viewfinder, and it really works really, really well. Now, the one thing about both these cameras is the maximum flash shutter speed speed is only 1/50th of a second. It does not do high speed sync. So you got to hold the camera kind of steady to have nice sharp pictures. But it is possible to get great pictures with external professional flashes with these little tiny pocket cameras from 2011. It's so cool. They both have an HDMI out for playback viewing of pictures and video on a monitor or TV, but they cannot output while recording, which I know some people are going to ask for. And no, these do not have a microphone jack. I mean, come on. One thing about this GX1 is the battery door likes to pop open unexpectedly. Not a big deal, it's just kind of annoying. The GF2, which is the more beginner camera, when you push video, it does crop in a bit. The GX1 does not. So when you push video on the GX1, it just, what you see is what you get. It does not crop in, which is really good. Let's get to the giveaway, the part that everybody's waiting for. I have a new way of doing it, so don't do it the old way. The way you do it is you go to MarkusPix.giveawayenter.com. That's MarkusPix.giveawayenter.com. Thank you, Anthony Sabatini, again, for helping make this possible. So what you do is you go to this website, you fill in your name, your address, your phone number, your email, so the Postal Service can find you if you're not home or if whatever, the same stuff as before. Pick the item you want. You can only enter once and you can only pick one item, and you must live in the United States. I already explained why. Customs in other countries made it too much of a nightmare with their taxes and regulations and stuff, so I have to do it only in the United States. I'm sorry about that, but anyway, so you go to MarkusPixGiveawayEnter.com, you fill in your information, and in a couple days, I will pick a winner, and all I got to do is push a button, and like a slot machine, it goes whoosh, bing, and it picks one. And I don't have to print out pieces of paper and cut them up and put them in a bag and all that. It just makes it so much easier, so I can give away so much more stuff now. And I have a lot of stuff to give away, especially in the audio department. I've been collecting years of audio equipment, which I know you people are going to love. So stay tuned for more giveaway stuff. I'm doing what I can to help make photography more accessible to people, because it is such a great hobby for people in this world where things are just going crazy. So this helps give you a little bit of a fun little escape. There's still beautiful things out there to photograph, and I want to help make that possible for you. So enjoy this, subscribe, tell your friends about Mark Blog, the whole thing. So I'll see you next week, or actually I'll see you in a few days, to pick the winner of these two cameras. All right, bye.